Welcome to the Wellness as a Way of Life podcast, your one-stop, all-encompassing source of wellness, knowledge, wisdom, inspiration, and motivation. Here we teach you why not all wellness trends are for you, how to figure out which ones are, how to best adapt them for your personal wellness toolbox, and how ultimately to integrate your wellness practices so fully that they become to feel like brushing your teeth. A foundational part of who you are and not a check mark on your to-do list. Here we know that in order for health and wellness to be sustainable, we need a less is more approach, leaving the information overload and tips overwhelm behind. I'm your host, Megan Swan, creator of the Wellness as a Way of Life course and the Sustainable Integrated Wellness Approach. I have more than a decade of experience in the wellness industry and on my own personal wellness journey, learning how to tune into and trust my intuition and drown out all the noise. As a certified IIN health coach, detoxification expert, plant-based chef, yoga teacher, and coach, I will help you distill down the information overload and feel more confident and at ease in your own skin again. So let's swan dive in. Welcome back to Energetically You. This week on the podcast, I wanted to highlight a very important point. It's one of the reframes that I go into in depth in the course, Wellness as a Way of Life, and with clients. I think it's an important reframe. There's just so much content out there right now talking about managing our stress or avoiding stress or stress relief. And I'm not saying it's not valid. What I am saying is we have taken the word stress and made it just mean negative impact on us, when in fact our bodies physically and emotionally and mentally, and I would argue spiritually, require stress, meaning they require something that's challenging us, taxing us, requiring us to go just outside of our existing current capacity in order to grow, to build, to develop. And so we can think of this in the physical example. If we're lifting weights, we need to go a little bit beyond what we're capable of doing if we actually want to build muscle. If we just want to maintain our existing muscles, we also need to stress them out a little bit every day. Meaning, if we did absolutely nothing, there would be atrophy of the muscle we have. And this analogy, or this reality rather, can be applied to mental, emotional, and I could put together an argument for spiritual as well. It's like we require stress to exist and really exist and thrive. So this is important when we're considering our perspective on stress management. It's not that we're trying to avoid all stress. One, because that would be impossible, and therefore trying to do something that's impossible would be really complicated for us to digest. You know, like we're this feeling that we're never getting ahead. Well, I invite you to reframe it. You actually want to invite a certain amount of stress, specific and intentional stress, depending on how you want to build, grow, develop personally, professionally, physically, spiritually. You want to invite some stress into your life. What we do need to talk about in terms of stress management, mitigation, is our ability, our systems are built to overextend themselves to a great degree, but then also have a very complete rest and recovery period. So another analogy that often I've even used in the past is that like life is a marathon, entrepreneurship's a marathon, XYZ is a marathon. Yes and no. Our physical and mental systems are actually better described as designed for sprinting. So you are designed to really like take action, even take major action, whether it be mentally or physically, but then have a complete period where it's zero stress on the body, so that your central nervous system gets a clear indication that it is rest and recovery. So again, back to the athletic analogy, athletes that are training for something, professional athletes are very clear that their rest day, it's not like it's a free day. Like there is an intentionality, and it's a strategy. They require the rest day. Why? Because it is on the rest day that the actual muscle building and repair and recovery happens. If you're just constantly going at it, you're not building in that aspect of the strategy. You're just having all the stress and none of the time to rest and recover and build and grow and enhance your ability to meet the next level, if you will, of invited or uninvited stress into your life. So of course, there's one thing that we talk about, the stress, let's say in your workplace, that's potentially, improving your career trajectory in some way. Then there's also the stress that is completely uninvited, or, that you have no control of whatsoever. Let's say you get in a car accident, or your relationship is going through a hard time. You are dealing with a really severe diagnosis. One of your children is sick and dealing with something, or maybe there's a death in the family. Maybe it's financial stress for other reasons that don't have anything to do with your career, or what your baseline. So there's all these ways that life brings us stress that is totally out of our control, that we need to mitigate whether we like it or not. And oftentimes in that moment, it is very hard to see how this is an opportunity for growth, right? And let's face it, if you are already stressed to the max on all the other quote unquote opportunities for growth, one of life's uninvited stresses might be too much for you and might take you down, or might kick you into being diagnosed with high anxiety or depression, or needing some more support beyond taking good care of yourself, eating well, resting, and all that. So it's a massive conversation, stress, but I just wanted to plant that seed because I think it is such a key point that most people kind of forget or miss when we're thinking about how we want to, manage our stress or seek out stress relief. It's like everything. If we just have a negative point of view that it's a negative thing, stress, it's a really limiting perspective. When we empower ourselves, we open the door for a deeper understanding and conversation around the ways in which we actually want to seek out a certain degree of stress. And maybe we can be more intentional and feel therefore more in control about the specific types of stress we're inviting into our life in order to, grow professionally, personally. Maybe you're looking for physical growth, or extending your capacity in some way, in a physical way, in addition to mentally, spiritually, emotionally. So I will leave it with that, just understanding that not all stress is bad, that we need it. It is something we cannot avoid, and therefore it is important that we reframe how we are managing it, and that managing it is not always a negative thing. We require it to a great degree, and it is what helps us improve as humans on the day-to-day. So maybe being more intentional about how we invite it in and where we invite it in, and creating deeper, better boundaries around where and what kinds of stress we aren't going to tolerate. That is an important conversation. But understanding completely eliminating it is never going to be possible and is not the ideal. So I hope you have a lovely week, and I am wishing you the very best. Bye for now. Thanks again for listening to the Wellness as a Way of Life podcast. As you know, we love bringing you valuable content that helps you improve your wellness. This podcast is sponsored by the Wellness as a Way of Life course. The course experience is the ultimate and only wellness course you need to have in your back pocket. If you're looking to feel more confident and at ease in your own skin with consistent energy, this course is the perfect solution for you. And the best part, as a listener of the podcast, you'll get an exclusive discount on the course. Just use the promo code WELL4LIFE at checkout to receive 10% off of your purchase. That's capital W, ELL, the number 4, capital LIFE at checkout. 8 incredible women have taken the Wellness as a Way of Life course and can attest to the massive value it provides. Consisting of 60 plus audio lessons, a dozen videos, the Wellness as a Way of Life workbook, and the Wellness as a Way of Life daily tracker, menus, playlists, readings, and the Megan Swan Wellness Resource Vault. It makes it the most comprehensive, less is more, holistic wellness course on the market. So if you're ready to take your wellness skills to the next level, head over to the website linked here in the show notes and enroll in the Wellness as a Way of Life course today. Hey there, one last thing I wanted to share with you. If you're enjoying this podcast, it would mean so much to me if you could rate and review it on your favorite podcast platform. It really does help us grow the show, and this being so important to me to get this message out to more women to help them optimize their wellness and ultimately their lives. This is my mission, and I would greatly appreciate it if you could support the podcast by rating and reviewing. Thanks in advance. Have a good one.